Hi Dangerfielders, I hope you're doing well. Firstly, as you might have guessed, there are now 500 Dangerfielders, yes 500 subscribers to this channel, and I'm incredibly grateful to each and every single one of you, because it's so lovely to know that 500 people liked what I'm doing enough to hit subscribe. So thank you so much. Now, I hadn't actually planned this video to chime with me hitting 500 subscribers, but now that I have, I'm going to say that this could be a kind of celebration of that, because I'm very excited to be sharing a new instrument with you guys today. And you'd be forgiven for thinking it's some kind of stylophone, and you wouldn't be completely wrong either, because it has been created, or it was created, by the same company that created the stylophone. So what could it be? Well, let me show it to you guys. Now you'll have to excuse the slightly cabley mess, but this, my friends, is the Dubreq Pianomate, and it's possibly the only synthesizer in the whole world that isn't a keyboard. The basic idea of how it works is that you have this little amplifier with various different settings that also doubles as a storage unit for the other components. So this would be the two plunging panels that I'll tell you guys about in a moment, and this would be for the expression pedal, which is down here. Now unfortunately, the original expression pedal that would have come with the Pianomate did not make it by the time I had got the Pianomate, so it wasn't included. But my friend very kindly donated this expression pedal M gear, and it works just as well. My friend that gave me this expression pedal also very kindly repaired the Pianomate, because when I first got it, it was in such a state. Literally none of the plunger keys were working, and it was all rusty and dirty, and he cleaned it all. So I'm very grateful for that. And he also has an a really interesting channel that you guys should check out. His name is Leigh Kemp, and I will leave his channel in the description because he makes really cool stylophone videos as well. So I feel like you guys might really like that. You've got this duo of what I call plunger panels, which I've had to tape together here because originally there was something that would hold them together, but because it's so old I didn't have that. This is the bass panel, and then you've got the treble panel. The first bass panel will begin on this low C, and the other treble panel begins on the other C, and the two panels together span almost 2 octaves. So you've got all these different plungers. As you play the keys, the plungers move with the keys and play a note. Now the Pianomate is currently off, but I will be showing that to you guys in just a moment. The next thing I want to show you is the expression pedal, and the idea behind the expression pedal is that you can fade in or out any of the notes that you're playing as you play them. And this was a very weird invention, because the idea was to originally have this sitting on your piano at home, and it would augment the sound of your piano. So it was kind of an extension to it rather than a separate synthesizer. But for me, I've found that it also works very nicely as a synthesizer all by itself. So now I'm going to show you guys around the amp and the different sounds that you can create with the Pianomate. So first you've got this set of switches here. The balance switch is going to switch the volume dominating between the treble and the bass panels. So for this one, if I now play, you can hear that the bass is a bit louder than the treble, and if I switch it the other way, you can now hear that the treble is louder than the bass. But for now we're going to leave it in the middle position, which is the neutral position. And then for the voices, you've got the different types of sounds, the basic sounds that you can get out of the Pianomate. You've got 1, 2 and 3. Number 1 is the organ sound, number 2 in neutral position is the electric piano sound, and number 3 is the synth sound. So let me give you a quick play of each one. So that's number 1, the organ. Number 2, which is electric piano. And now number 3, which is the synth. You can hear that setting 1 and setting 3 are much brighter than setting 2, and that's to do with the way the filters are being adjusted based on the basic sound that the Pianomate has. Now, as you may be able to see, the 3 settings that I just played you were all on the neutral position for this switch right here, called the vibrato switch, which means that there was no vibrato on any of the sounds. Now you've got that one, obviously the neutral position, no vibrato. The top one is a large wave vibrato, which is a slower vibrato, and the bottom one is a small wave vibrato, which is a quicker vibrato. So let me show you guys each of the settings again with the 2 different vibrato settings. And then you've also got something up here which actually hasn't been fixed on my Pianomate, and so it doesn't work, but it's a little hole where you can use a screwdriver to change the vibrato speed to a more detailed level. You could switch it to specific fixed positions to play on, rather than having the slow or fast speeds that you have on this. The next thing I want to show you guys is the way that the expression pedal can be used. So you've got the forwards and the backwards motion. Backwards is obviously no pedal, forwards is the maximum volume with the pedal, and that gives me the loudest volume possible with the Pianomate. And I'm going to show you how you can make a sort of gradually fading in and out sound with the pedal. So as you can see, you can do slow, you can do fast, and I'm currently using it on my favourite of the Pianomate settings, which is voice 1, so the organ setting on the slow vibrato. And I also wanted to give you guys a quick idea of what the Pianomate sounds with a piano, so the 2 sounds together. something that I happen to know because of something that I'm in possession of, which I will show you guys in a moment, is that the buzz tone was the ideal setting that Dubreq recommended for pop music. And the buzz tone, I think, is the electric organ with the fast vibrato setting. That's what I understood by it, because I own a really cool thing which I got before I got the Pianomate, because I was thinking about getting the Pianomate before I did, and I got this really cool thing. This is what I got, and this is a little vinyl that I picked up that was made at the same time as the Pianomate was released. The Pianomate did come with a manual originally, but mine didn't, so I thought this would be the next best thing to both owning a Pianomate, which I didn't at the time, and knowing how it would work in a basic way. And it's a commentary by Peter Fairley. So if you guys would like to hear this and would like me to put this up in full on my channel, let me know in the comments. There's nothing new under the sun, or so the saying goes, particularly in the field of music. Most new musical instruments are logical developments of existing types, but this new device cannot adequately be described in print, as one has to see a pianist walk up to an ordinary piano, lay two slim units across 4 octaves of the keyboard, sit down and play the organ and piano simultaneously. Even for a trained musician, this is a remarkable experience, giving one the feeling that one's performance on the piano is being mystically augmented by some unseen orchestra. Truly, there really is something new under the sun. So there you have it. And one other thing that it recommends that you do is you have one of the panels on a higher or lower position. So instead of having them together centrally like this, the idea would be that you'd put this one an octave higher. So instead of being on this key, you'd have it starting on that key. Or you'd have this one an octave lower. So instead of starting on that key, you'd have it starting on that key. So I'm going to have a quick go at that and see what happens. So at the moment I've put the bass one an octave down, and the treble one I've kept in the same place on middle C. And what I've noticed is then you've got this gap in the middle of almost an octave. So if you play anything in that middle bit, you've only got piano. So essentially you then got only piano mixed with piano and Pianomate on either side, which is really interesting. So let me give you a quick flavour of that. I'm going to show you guys how it sounds with the treble one moved up and the bass one in the normal position. So again, you've got that same gap in the middle but slightly higher up. So let me give you a quick flavour of that. The best way that this would work is if you've got something really busy going on the piano that takes you across many different registers. Like for example, one of the things that the Dubreq saw this being used for, which is what I understood, is for complicated jazz music, which is kind of improvisatory slightly and takes you up and down the keys, or even classical pieces as well. But still, it's a great way to be inventive with it if you want to try different registers as well, with just simple ideas. So I've now obviously shown you guys around these switches and this switch, which are the sounds of the Pianomate, but I haven't shown you how the amp works in much detail, so I'm just going to tell you guys more about that. These two holes are obviously for the 2 plunger panels, this one being the treble one with the treble clef, and that one being the bass one with the bass clef. If you move over here, you've got 2 little knobs. You've got Pianomate and microphone. This knob over here controls the volume of the Pianomate, so I've currently got that on maximum. And this one controls the volume of what would be a microphone. Now the idea would be that you would plug a microphone into this amp, and you could use it either simultaneously with the Pianomate or as an amp just for the microphone, which is pretty cool. And I guess you could also record that for a different kind of sound, which I would definitely try eventually. And now for that, I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but you've got the microphone input slot here, which would enable you to connect a microphone. And you've also got the pedal volume slot where you would plug in the expression pedal. An output for recording the Pianomate internally into a DAW, which you can do with a 1/4 inch to 3.5 adapter, which I don't have yet, but I will show it to you guys as soon as I do, and do some cool stuff with that. And that's the fuse as well, and this is the power switch. Then here you've got a tuning knob which helps you tune the entirety of the Pianomate, and then you've got another tuning option as well up here. It's hiding beneath this wooden panel if you unscrew these 2 screws. Now there should be lots of little things inside when you uncover this wooden panel called potentiometers, which enable 3 keys of the plungers on the panels of the Pianomate to be tuned at a time, so it's a kind of more refined tuning system. So when you open up the Pianomate, as you can see, this is what you get. And it's got some kind of accordion-y thing. Then you've got these 2 panels here, obviously representing the bass and the treble, and you've got the 3 notes at a time to be tuned. And I don't exactly know how to tune them, but I'll try and find out, and maybe I'll show you guys in a future video if that is possible, as well as showing you guys how to do stuff with the input and output, some different things that I might experiment with. And I should mention that the Stylophone 350S is very much similar to this in terms of the way it's built inside and the switches that it has over here. My dress is currently absolutely covered in glitter from opening the gift that I opened at the beginning of this video, which had very glittery wrapping paper. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Dubreq Pianomate. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'd very much love it if you joined by hitting subscribe and gave this video a thumbs up as well. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Dubreq Pianomate in the comments, even if you've got one of your own. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.